Not much more than a month ago, I was on the other shore of the Pacific, looking westward. This evening, I looked eastward over the Pacific. In those fast-moving days which have intervened, the whole width of the world has passed behind us, except this broad ocean. I shall be glad when we have the hazard of its navigation behind us. Amelia Earhart, several days before she left for Holland Island, disappeared. Amelia Earhart, a brave and inspirational woman who attempted the impossible to mankind in 1937. After graduating from Hyde Park High School in 1915, Earhart attended Ogons. She left in the middle of her second year to work as a nurse aide in a military hospital in Canada during World War I. One afternoon in April 1928, Amelia received a phone call. The phone call was from a man who asked Amelia if she would like to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. On May 21, 1932, Earhart became the first woman and the only person since Charles Lindbergh to fly non-stop and alone across the Atlantic Ocean. She arrived in Cornwall, Northern Ireland, after her solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean, fighting fatigue and aircraft problems. Later that year, Amelia flew the Vega to another record. On August 25th, she made the first solo non-stop flight by a woman across the United States from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey in about 19 hours.
Mind indicating on this blackboard exactly the trials and difficulties that you encountered in coming across?
Well, I'll try to give you some of the highlights of the trip if you wish. I took off the famous Harbor Grace runway at dusk, about 7:30, I believe. I flew for a couple of hours while sunset lasted, and then 2 more hours as the moon came up over a bank of clouds. I had fair weather for 4 hours. Then I ran into a storm, which was one of the most severe I have ever been in. I milled around in the storm here for probably an hour, and with difficulty kept my course. I had been troubled with my exhaust manifold burning through all night. A weld broke shortly after I left Harbor Grace, and I could see the damage increasing as the night wore on. I found specific thunderstorms probably 300 or 400 miles off the coast of Ireland. I believe I saw land first about the middle. I decided to come down anyway in the best available pasture. I got down without any trouble and taxied to the front door of a surprised farmer's cottage. After receiving a real Irish welcome, I took a Paramount plane to London and there received a real English welcome.
In 1933, Amelia visits the White House. This visit, she develops a friendship with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. Amelia sent a letter to President Roosevelt announcing her round-the-world flight. Despite a botched attempt in March which she severely damaged her plane, Earhart was so determined she had the twin-engine Lockheed Electra rebuilt. In June, Amelia was ready for the tough flight she has been wanting to do, to fly non-stop around the world. Getting ready for the flight, Amelia left important communication and navigation instruments behind to make room for the additional fuel for the long flight. The pair made it to New Guinea in 21 days. While Amelia was tired and ill, she still wanted to do the rest of the flight. They departed New Guinea for Howden Island, a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. On July 2nd, 1937, was the last time Earhart and Noonan communicated with a nearby Coast Guard ship. They were never heard from again. In Amelia's life, not only did she do many accomplishments, but she showed that women can also do things men can or can't do. She broke the barrier of how women were seen from her lifetime.